All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Treetop Garage on a Monday. Crazy, huh? Today, I'm going to do a little lathe project. I did notice, and I forgot to mention this in the other video, on the back of the motor where the transmission goes on, which we're getting ready to put those two together, there's usually two dowel pins. I think on the Ford they're kind of offset. The Chevys are usually straight across, and that just locates the transmission, gives a little more stability. And this one here is missing one. So I was looking at them online. I didn't want to wait. And did you guys know I got that lathe over there that I just picked up, I don't know, a little while ago, and I finally got it all mounted and got it all set up pretty good. So I got some round bar. I think it's 5/8, and we're going to turn it down to about 495-ish thousandths. I got to measure it again. And also I measured the depth. And this is how you do this with one of these old school dial calipers. I've been using this one. I've had this one since the 90s. So what I do, if I want to find out how long something is in a hole, is you take this piece right here, and I set it against the back of the block, and then I ran this part out. As you can see, this stem comes out, and this is pretty basic stuff. And then when it bottoms out, they'll tell you how long on this part and this part here, how long it needs to be. So I measured out, it was about 1.5 inches. So I'm going to make it just a little bit longer because when I do make it, I got to cut it off of the piece. I'm going to leave the piece a little long. So I got something to put in the chuck. So let me take you guys over. I'm not going to do it all on camera. It's going to take me probably an hour to do it, maybe a little longer. So I'm just going to do it, and maybe I'll show you guys a little bit of like the end part of it or whatever. So yeah, so I'm going to pause you. I need to get set up with the stuff over here, and we'll be back. Hold on, guys. All right, guys, so one of the things I noticed, and I totally didn't even think about this until the other day, well, 2 days ago, is normally on these, when the transmission mounts onto the motor, as you guys know, we're getting ready to pair these up, drop them in the truck. There's usually a dowel right here that goes in. It's like a locating dowel for the transmission to slide onto, and it's missing one. So as you can see, this one has one right here. This side doesn't have anything. So I didn't really want to go buy anything because I have, as you guys know, I got this thing pretty much kind of dialed in. So I've been kind of messing around with this. And I got this piece, it was like a 5/8. I think I measured about 5/8. I turned it down to, those dowels are like, they're like a hair, about, I don't know, about 495-ish. Not quite a 1/2 inch. So right now we're at we're right about there actually. So I don't want to take this out of here yet because this thing was it had a little bit of a curve to it. So actually, the first two passes or so I got rid of that wobble, but I did cut it off because it was way longer. And when I put it back in, it had a little more of a wobble, so I made another pass and got rid of that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this emery cloth right here, and I'm just going to take emery cloth and just kind of clean it up a little bit more and see how it fits. And hopefully it fits decent. I still got to put kind of a taper on the end too, but to do that, there's the dating grit. Give us a nice smooth finish. Alright, so I hit it with that. It's pretty smooth now. I think I'm going to do with this taper, I'm not going to do a major, huge taper on it, but I think I'm going to use this file to kind of put a little taper on that. Just a small taper. Like I said, I don't want to take it out until I know it's going to be pretty close. So I'm going to use this file now and try to get a little bit of a taper on there, just to get it where you can do this with a grinder if you want. I thought about doing that actually, but yeah, I'll do it with a file. can also mess around and reposition my cutter. I really don't want to do that either. I guess I could. So. Take long, just a little bit of a taper on it. Factory ones have way more of a taper, but I'm not going to do that. I don't know. So we got a nice little taper on there. Clean it up just a little bit. Watch yourself on these moving parts too, by the way. Looks pretty good. Alright, so now we're going to take it out of there. And this has a weird chuck. There's no wrench. So I have this old Craftsman screwdriver that broke, and I just got that like with a handle. Actually works perfect. Also, I got a little pan here to catch all my shaving. Before I was making a pretty big mess. So, as of course I have to cut that off. But I actually made this part a little long too. So let's go over here and see if it fits. We'll do this all in one thing. Now might be some paint in this hole, which might actually help just in case I went a little too far, but let's see how she fits here. Oh yeah. It's in there. It's perfect. Just a little bit of wiggle room, but it'll bottom out before it actually does anything else. And there's a little bit of crap. You see there's grease and stuff in there. But yeah, that's actually perfect. I'll put a little bit of Loctite on that, or maybe clean it up first. Throw a little bit of Loctite, blue Loctite on that. And there you go. So yeah, first project on the lathe. Alright guys, hold on one sec. Alright, we're back. So, I don't know if you can really see the piece. This is up close. You can see where I started it right here and just went. I started longer at first. And remember when I said there was like a wobble? So, if you look, you see there's like still the outside, like the outside coating right there, and then it goes back. And I mean, this is just, it was probably 8 feet long or 12. It might have been 20 feet long when I first got this piece, when I cut it off at work. That's where this came from. I used this for something else. I forget what. So I had a few little smaller pieces. So I turned it down, and now it is, well, we tried it. It fits about perfect. And it measures out to 496 thousandths, which is, I probably could have left it just maybe a thousandth bigger. But it fits pretty snug in there, and it actually fits the transmission fairly snug. So that's kind of what you want with these. The normal ones you buy from like if you buy ones online or whatever, they have more of a taper here, but this will be fine. It goes in the transmission kind of, it fits pretty good, but it's still, like I said, it's still snug, so which is fine. So the next step, I guess, is to cut it off of this piece, which I'll do that, and I'm probably not going to video that, but this ended up being, oh, it's 1 1/4 inches, that's right. I made it a little long. It's like 1 1/4 inches plus 2 thousandths, so it's 252 thousandths long. I could always cut it down more, which is why I left it on this piece. This way I was able to put this in the chuck. I had it chucked up to about right there. That way my cutter wouldn't hit anything, and I still was able to. So, it actually, pretty fun project for the first time really messing with the lathe and actually making something I could use. I played around with it a little bit like the other day, and it's a little noisy. I don't know if you guys noticed. And it's not the bearings or anything. It's the gears in there are they're like aluminum or some kind of alloy, and they're just noisy when they. Because it's got on the top where the bearings are at. It's got two little oil ports, the little tops on them with spring-loaded tops, and I filled it up with oil before I used it, and I fill them up with oil. I fill them up every time I turn it on, but just a little bit of oil. I was using I think 530 or 1030, whatever that is. I forget what it is now. Would have been 1040. I don't know. I'm sure, and I had the original instructions for that thing, and they recommend an oil, and I forget what it is. But at this point, it probably ain't gonna matter much. The little bearing where behind the chuck, like that first bearing there, you could replace them. I've actually found them online for pretty cheap. I thought about maybe just getting one of those. That thing's probably from the 40s. I mean, or 30s even, from what I've seen online. It seems to work okay though. Once I got the wobble out of that first pass or two, there was no problems at all. It was nice and straight and true and everything. So I don't know. We'll probably leave it the way it is for now. The tool post holder works decent. The cutter I have on there is a newer one. It's a new cutter, but it's an old school one that I've actually had. I showed you guys that Kennedy toolbox my grandpa had back in the day. And there was a couple of those in there, and they're brand new, you could tell. But I don't know, I want to get some different ones, I think, with those inserts or something maybe. And get a couple different styles. I think it would be a little bit better that way. So, anyways, guys, I hope you liked that. It was actually kind of fun. It took some time. It took me about an hour and 20 minutes to make that. Because that thing's not really designed to do steel like this. You can do it, but you have to go slow. I was only able to take off a little bit at a time. And if you take too much, it starts to really not want to cut it. So I just took off. I don't know. I wasn't really. At first, I didn't really measure. I just go in a little bit until it started digging a little bit and went. And then at the last few passes, I would measure it and use the actual little thousandths dials on the little knobs and got it pretty much where I wanted it. So, anyways, I'll stop rambling now. I got some bolts today to put the motor mounts on the motor. I got some transmission, like bell housing bolts today too. They're all 7/16. So yeah, I didn't clean up. I was going to clean up that transmission today, and I didn't do that yet. That might be tomorrow's job. I'll clean that stuff up, get it ready. I'm going to cut this piece off and get it in the block where it's supposed to go, and then we'll get this transmission bolted up. And then I'm hoping by this next weekend, because after tomorrow I'm off the rest of the week. I have some vacation days, but it's also my wife's birthday on Thursday, so I'm not sure what we're doing yet, but I'd like to get this motor in the truck on this weekend, hopefully, or possibly before, but I don't know. I did notice, too, those torque converter studs are fine thread, so hopefully I can get some nuts that'll fit that. So shouldn't be no big deal, I don't think. They look like about 3/8. But anyways, guys, give me a thumbs up. Definitely subscribe if you haven't done that. And comment, because I answer all the comments, and I love getting comments from you guys, especially the new subscribers. If you guys are new and you just find this channel, just say, hey, I'll answer you. So, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next video. Have a good one.